first I always start with what the definition is, right? And so definitely it's a Colectiva, right? It's a collective, it's a gathering. But Karuna, like what is this crazy word Karuna that we sport on our t-shirts and our bikes and all this other stuff we're doing? And Karuna is compassion, right? And so really it's a collective of compassionate people of all ages, of all backgrounds, and just really, just as beings trying to exist in a way that's harmonious and compassionate with one another. It's powerful.
As being part of the Karuna Colectiva, what I've been learning is how to socialize better with people that I don't know, especially helping my public speaking skills and also learning to do entrepreneurship better. The bikes that we had got at the beginning when we first had gotten into the Karuna Colectiva was just to help us get around at first. But then when we went to the classes that was set up by Jake at Esperanza Bike Shop, which is in the west side of town, it was to help us also realize that this exercise is better for the environment, but also to get us to have a bigger bond with each other. Because we wouldn't just ride around single, we would also plan bike rides and stuff like that. With the cook-off and everything today, the Karuna Colectiva also does that because it's bringing in, it's a community thing. That's what the Karuna Colectiva is also about. It's community, bringing everybody together to help each other. So this cook-off was put together to basically bring the community together to have fun and just listen to music, cook, and all that.
Western foods that our people eat, commodity foods, for example, that's a big issue on a lot of reservations in this country. It's definitely taking a toll on our people's health. There's higher rates of diabetes, higher rates of obesity, high blood pressure, and alcohol too. And with that, the reason why I want to bring those back is because that's what we originally ate. That's what we originally cultivated. That's what we didn't have. These commodities, processed foods. We didn't eat processed foods. We planted. We farmed our own food. We hunted and we gathered, medicines and herbs.
A big part of the Karuna Colectiva is not only about work, learn, and earn, or having some type of employment, whether it be very small. It's also about really building core values and putting those values into practice. So for instance, a huge value that we have is our holistic wellness, holistic health. So we talk about, how many hours are each of us gonna devote to our personal wellness, our physical wellness, right? How many hours are we gonna devote to our spiritual wellness, our emotional wellness, and ultimately our intellectual wellness. So each one of these students committed to hours, and they all surpassed all of those hours because they realized that through biking, they committed to 10 hours for physical wellness. Well, they put over 40 hours of physical wellness, in this couple months that we've been working with them, because it caught on. It was something that that became a habit. So for us, we're really talking about this holistic wellness. We're talking about this 21st century skills, communication, critical thinking, compassion, creativity, and we're really putting into practice. So all of these activities that we're doing are kind of cutting edge, from working on bikes and teaching young people how to teach other young people how to work on bikes, to making aircrete, which is a combination of cement and foam, so that we could start building, garden beds and benches, and eventually, who knows, even buildings one day. So everything that we're looking at, we're always looking at what is the cutting edge. As Indigenous people, how are we going to use our technologies to help support us that use the natural renewable cycles of the earth, and how are we going to get away from, again, this petroleum-based economy? right? This economy that's based on the individual, this economy that's based on kind of keeping us down, you know, for lack of a better word, for keeping us oppressed. So we're about transforming those systems, you know, and that really is the most important part for me, is that we're instilling a consciousness, you know, we're changing a culture, you know, and in some ways, in most ways, we're going back to our original culture, our indigenous cultures. So really, it's just for me an excuse to really plant these seeds of consciousness to these young people. And we're having fun, we're doing bikes, we're selling, you know, medicine pouches and all these other things, but really it's that consciousness that we're wanting to spread, you know, that compassion, that karuna.